It's time for the final episode of the Blitz for this offseason. We are counting down the days to Training Camp 2023. What are the top position battles this year? What second-year Cowboy might make the biggest jump this year? That and much more next on the Blitz.
Pops out to the right, breaks a tackle. They blitz it. Prescott throws it down the right side for Lamb. Caught it! Wentz gets rid of it over the middle. It's intercepted. Back to throw. Rush. Sacked by Parsons. Heaves it deep down the left side for Gallup. He's got it. Touchdown!
Oh, you can feel it in the air. The heat, the humidity, as soon as you walk out the door. Yes, summer has hit here in North Texas. This is the Blitz, Bill Jones and Kyle Youmans, and because summer has hit here in North Texas, we are counting down the days to the cooler climes of Southern California, Oxnard, California, to be precise. We are 5 weeks away now, Kyle.
5 weeks away, and it's going to take me about 5 seconds from whenever we get off the plane in Oxnard to see that temperature gauge go from near triple digits all the way back down to 70s. I'm looking forward to it, but more importantly than that, I'm looking forward to getting back to football because now this is the downtime of year. This is where things aren't necessarily busy around the Star in Frisco, but that's not exciting. We're here to watch some ball. Let's get back to it.
And we're here over the course of the next half hour to preview Training Camp 2023. And how about we start with the quarterback, Dak Prescott. You see the numbers from last season for Dak, and the number that needs to drop is the second one on the list there. That, of course, has the star by it, the 15 interceptions. Let's hear what Dak was saying at minicamp last week.
No, it's huge. I mean, it's huge to be able to just get into an off season and work on your whole game, and as you say, not spend 2 hours of your day every day or for a couple of months working on an ankle or a shoulder or trying to get it back just to normal or feeling like yourself, and just being able to elevate everything in my game. It's been fun. It's been fun and damn sure refreshing just being able to do that.
About the difference for him this offseason. No, there was no injury rehab whatsoever. He could focus on football, focus on the new play caller as well, and new offensive coordinator. Of course, Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator, Mike McCarthy calling the plays. But Kyle, is your bigger concern for Dak, those interceptions or staying healthy this year?
Yeah, I think it's got to be the interceptions because starting with the health, he's, for the most part through his career, barring the thumb injury, which was kind of a freak thing, hitting the helmet of an opponent while throwing the football and then missing those games like he did in 2022. And then, of course, the injury back in 2020. He's been durable. He's only missed a couple of games. He had the calf injury in 2021, so he has missed time in each of the last 3 seasons. But it's nothing really to be concerned about. Something to be concerned about is the interceptions. You had 15, which, of course, was a career high, tied for the NFL league lead in interceptions. Plus, over the last 3 seasons, or 3 of his last 4 seasons, he's had double-digit interceptions. He needs to get back to going into each game to take care of the football. He can still push the issue. He can still be aggressive, but there are different decisions that have to be made through the course of a game that could put this offense in better situations and especially help out your defense because when they're faced with short field, they aren't allowed to pin their ears back the same way that Dan Quinn would like to. So I think out of the 2 things that Dak has struggled with over these last 3 or 4 campaigns, it's got to be the interceptions. Take those turnovers away, and for the most part, you're going to see a better Dak Prescott in 2023.
And it's interesting because early in Dak's career, the interceptions were down. Of course, in his first year in the league, his rookie season, when the Cowboys win the division in 2016, he only had 4 interceptions that year. That's one of the key stories of this offseason headed into training camp. There are plenty more, and when we come back here on The Blitz, we take a look at the top training camp battles this year.
The Dallas Cowboys Blitz, presented by Blockchain.com, is also brought to you by AT&T, official partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and by Blockchain.com. Make your crypto play today. This segment is brought to you by AT&T.
Jalen Tolbert's had an incredible camp. And if you talk to Jalen, what Jalen's going to tell you is he spent a ton of time with Brandon. And so here's a guy that's been there, done that, and what Brandon wants to do, although come and learn the system, is he wants to encourage and invest in the younger guys. And so those guys spend a lot of time together. I see them before practice in the weight room working together. So
Brian Schottenheimer, who's in his second year with the Cowboys, first year as offensive coordinator. Of course, he was an analyst last year. Welcome back to the Blitz. Bill Jones along with Kyle Youmans. We're taking a look at the position battles. He's talking about Jalen Tolbert. Of course, the top three wide receivers, C.D. Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup. Who's the number 4 receiver? Let's take a look at some of the candidates. One of them, of course, the third-round draft pick from last year. That would be Jalen Tolbert. And you've got Simi Fehoko in the mix. You got Cavante Turpin. How do you look at this battle?
Well, I think you look at it as a good problem to have for the Cowboys because all three of these players have had at least a little bit of work in an offense the last couple of years, but for the most part have been relatively unproductive. Jalen Tolbert with just 2 receptions last year, 5 games active. Simi Fehoko, 3 receptions in 5 games active. And then, of course, Cavante Turpin, who made plenty of impact on special teams, but was relatively and sparingly used on the offensive side of the football. It's going to be a task for Brian Schottenheimer and company to get these 3 involved, but I think the challenge is on the participants themselves because Jalen Tolbert and Simi Fehoko realistically have an opportunity to not only be on the roster and make an impact special teams wise, but to actually be that number 4 wide receiver underneath Lamb, Cooks, and Gallup. I think right now, just based off of those words from Brian Schottenheimer, he's been impressed with what Jalen Tolbert has seen in talking with him side by side and Coach Prince, the wide receivers coach for the Cowboys. Both of them have seen some improvement from Simi Fehoko as well, but it's when the lights turn on. Training camp, preseason, that's when these guys need to take their step forward and continue to improve. Cavante Turpin, he's just got to remain consistent while working on the offensive side of the ball. That will really help his case moving into the regular season.
All right, let's move on to position battle number 2. Of course, Tony Pollard is the lead dog at running back. How about the battle for the backup running back position? You got the veteran Ronald Jones signed in free agency. You got Malik Davis back. You got Rico Dowdle back. You got Deuce Vaughn, the 6th-round draft pick out of Kansas State. What are you thinking here?
Well, I'm thinking, one, this is going to be the most intriguing battle, I think, out of every one of them because it's going to happen over a short period of time. I mentioned how you need Jalen Tolbert and Simi Fehoko to step up with the lights on. The running backs only get to step up when the lights are on because even when they're at training camp, it's mostly paved out in front of them. There's not a whole lot of contact with these guys. It's being in the right place at the right time, showing that mentally they are grasping what it takes to be a number 2 running back at the NFL level. Ronald Jones has done that before, but he only had 6 games last year with Kansas City, 17 total carries. So he's relatively unused over the last 2 years. And then Malik Davis, Rico Dowdle, they've had some training camp battles before. And then I'm excited to see how Deuce Vaughn could add some more let's say versatility to this offense because out of the backfield, he can do a number of things.
Yeah, lots of things they can do with Deuce Vaughn. The training camp battle number 3, we go to cornerback. And, of course, you got Trayvon Diggs. You got Stephon Gilmore. You got Deron Bland, who stepped up in the slot last year. And Jordan Lewis will start the training camp on PUP. And so look at the battle for the number 4 cornerback. How about Kelvin Joseph? How about Nashawn Wright? There are some candidates there.
Yeah, both top 100 picks during the 2021 NFL Draft. And this is a desperation battle. This might be a battle where one player makes the roster going into the regular season and the other one's not on the roster heading into week 1. So I think Nashawn Wright, having come up and stepped up in a big way toward the back half of last season, and he's had some good snaps along the way, has an opportunity. But Kelvin Joseph, he was thrusted into opportunity due to the injuries at the cornerback spot last year, did not have the same success that Nashawn Wright did. So I think Wright has the step forward going into camp. Kelvin Joseph, Mike McCarthy talked about him a little bit, saying that he's had his most impressive offseason so far, but you have to see that continue because if not, there may not be Kelvin Joseph on the roster moving into the season because Nashawn Wright might take that spot, especially when Jordan Lewis comes back. There's not necessarily a need for depth at that cornerback spot because they have some guys up top.
They say you can never have enough cornerbacks, and the Cowboys really put that to the test last year at the end of the season. All right, when we come back here on the Blitz, how about the second-year Cowboy that might step up more than any other this year? Sudden Sam is next.
This segment was brought to you by AT&T. This segment is brought to you by Reliant, the official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back to the Blitz. Bill Jones along with Kyle Youmans. You know, there's a saying in the NFL that players make their biggest jump from their first year to their second year. And if that's the case with the Cowboys draft class from 2022, that could be saying a lot because the Cowboys got good production out of the class last year.
Yeah, they did. Deron Bland was a huge surprise out of the 5th round. The fact that he was able to come in and have the impact he did defensively was big time. Then you also look at Damone Clark playing significant snaps down the stretch, and then, of course, Tyler Smith up front. He has a chance to not only be an impact player in 2023, but possibly become a star on the offensive line. At least at this point, if you can get 3 starters out of your draft class, that's great. But this class has even more of an opportunity to grow in 2023.
And, of course, another guy is the 4th rounder, the tight end, Jake Ferguson as well. And, you know, Haley Sutton's got another one that she's got her eye on. Here's Haley.
Well, guys, this Dallas Cowboys team has been successful over the last couple of years, largely in part to the fact that the defense has been pretty dominating. And one of the players on that defense that made an impact last year was rookie Sam Williams. The defensive end stepped in and made a name for himself. And now that he's going into year 2, he wants to continue to be an impact player on defense, but he's also focused on some stuff off the field that he finds important.
Sam Williams hails from small town Alabama. It's where he played high school football before making the jump to the SEC. And after leaving Ole Miss as the team's record holder for most sacks by a single player, he was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys in the 2nd round.
He's becoming a true professional. Like, I see the work that he puts in, the structure that he's got on his off-fields. And now, like, he comes in and you see his flexibility's changed, his coordination's changed. Like, his stance is better. Like, the things he thought he had to work on, he's gone away, worked on them, and now you can improve them. I'm excited for him.
But even after a successful rookie campaign that saw the defensive end record 4 sacks and 13 tackles, Williams still makes his community a top priority.
Yes, it's a football camp, but that's not my main reason why I'm here. Like, I want to give these kids something, like I said, I never had before, or people in my generation never had before. I want to show them, like, what's the outcome of hard work, what's the outcome of motivation and dedication.
It's something that hits especially close to home for Williams. The camp was also a way to spread an important message, finding an end to gun violence.
The reason why I chose this is because I have, like, 2 people that's, like, dear to my heart that was a victim to gun violence. One was my older brother. He was back home transferring from JUCO to go to Alabama State. And I found out that someone was shooting at my house and hit my brother twice. He died. And then a year later, I was playing with my niece. I'm on the way back to Ole Miss, and I get a call saying my niece died from someone having an argument outside, and they start shooting at each other, but one bullet went through the house and hit my niece in the head.
Now in year 2, Williams hopes to use his love of football to inspire that change, starting in his own backyard.
I want to use them, my brother and my niece, as basically as a reminder, like, it's not worth it, or something like it can be prevented or it can stop one day, and hopefully one of these days, using this cause, using whatever, my name, whatever, that one day, like, it will reach out to the world and see, like, my whole vision of this cause.
Now, last week at mandatory minicamp, Sam Williams' teammates joined him in this cause by wearing shirts that represented the victims who lost their lives in the Allen shooting just last month. It's one step closer to putting an end to gun violence. And if Sam Williams can continue to share that message throughout his sophomore season, I think he'll be pretty successful. Now, as far as his skills on the field, he told me he wants at least 10 sacks this season, so we'll keep an eye out for him as he continues to impact this defense.
All right, Haley Sutton, and how about the confidence Sam Williams has? That's one of the things I really like about it. Can you imagine? Sam Williams, if he gets at least 10 sacks, how many is Micah going to get?
Yeah, I think that's the big thing about it is that you've got those 2 guys. I think DeMarvion Overshone as a rookie could maybe come in and show some pass rush presence, but 10 sacks for the second-year player would be fantastic, and he's never lacked confidence. He's always had that next-level mentality, and I think the thing about Sam Williams that he had in 2022 is the fact that a lot of his production came in bunches. It was one game he would provide a couple pressures, he'd have a couple sacks, but then he would go dormant for a little bit, and he would have some time where he didn't necessarily have that same sort of impact. So I think the biggest concern for Williams heading into year number 2, bring some consistency to the table, because if he can continue to string solid outings together, he doesn't have to have those massive outings, but if he could put solid outings together back and forth throughout the schedule, then all of a sudden I think he's one of the better second-year players in the league.
It's going to be very interesting to watch Sam Williams in training camp in Oxnard, because you could see it last year where Sam Williams, he was a rookie. He was learning the NFL, and I think he's going to make some big steps from a mental standpoint coming into this season. It's going to be exciting to see what he can do in his second year in the league. All right, up next here, what's going to happen on this Cowboys offensive line? Can it stay healthy? We give you the options up front on the O-line. And Tyler Smith, will he be a tackle or a guard? Next.
This segment was brought to you by Reliant, the official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, it's time to go down in the trenches on this segment of the Blitz. Bill Jones with Kyle Youmans. Who are going to be the starting 5 up front on this Cowboys offensive line when the season opens against the New York Giants? Well, we've got our own thoughts on it, but what do we think the Cowboys will do up front? If everybody's healthy, and hopefully everybody will be healthy, that means Terrence Steele is healthy. Here are my starters on the offensive line. Terrence Steele healthy, so he goes right in at right tackle. You got your 10-time Pro Bowler Tyron Smith at left tackle, so Tyler Smith moves into left guard. You got Tyler Biadasz, a Pro Bowler last year at center, and you got another multiple-time Pro Bowler, Zach Martin, at right guard. You like the looks of that?
I love the looks of this. I would agree completely. I think if Terrence Steele is available, this will be your starting offensive line going into week 1. Tyler Smith and Tyron Smith, it's a good problem to have. Those two playing together on the left side is the dream scenario for the Cowboys, especially if they can both stay healthy. Let's talk about if Terrence Steele is not healthy. That's where I think things could maybe change up a little bit. I think at that point, Tyler Smith, because he is comfortable at the tackle spot, he's the best option to move from guard to tackle. They've played around with this combination specifically during minicamp. They've put these guys out on the offensive line, so I believe this is where they would go first. That's Matt Farniok. They have played around with Matt Waletzko. They've maybe possibly put a Josh Ball in there, but I think Farniok is the best suited, the best fit to go in and play next to Tyler Biadasz. Biadasz, Martin, of course, they don't go anywhere. And then Tyron, should he be healthy as well going into week 1, he would flip from left tackle to right tackle, a position he played late in the season last year. So I don't know if this is a great opportunity. It's probably not exciting for Cowboys fans, but this is probably what would be the case if Terrence Steele isn't healthy, and that, of course, is a possibility should he not return from injury this offseason.
All right, and it is mid-June. Things can change,
absolutely change
until nearly mid-September when the Cowboys open the season. But hopefully everybody stays healthy, yes. And our option number 1 is what the Cowboys are able to start the season with this year. All right, we wrap up the Blitz, and we come back in just a moment.
The Dallas Cowboys Blitz, presented by Blockchain.com, was also brought to you by AT&T, official partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and by Blockchain.com. Make your crypto play today.
Final couple minutes here of the Blitz, not only for this show, but for the entire offseason as we've been getting you set for Training Camp 2023. Now it is prediction time. How are the Cowboys going to fare? Do you have a bold prediction? Let's start with you, Kyle. What are you thinking?
Okay, I'll have a realistic prediction. I think the Cowboys are going to be right around where they were in 2022. I think they'll be 11 wins to 13 wins, somewhere around there. They'll definitely be in contention for the NFC East. They will make the playoffs, and I think they're going to be better suited to make a run in the playoffs. I don't want to say a specific game or how long they would go into the postseason, but I think they will make it, and they'll be better suited for a run. My bold prediction, I think CeeDee Lamb, the offense opens up for him. Brandon Cooks is going to open up defenses. CeeDee Lamb's going to take advantage, and he will lead the NFL in receptions and yards in 2023.
Whoa, that is a bold prediction for CeeDee Lamb. You know what? I had a bold prediction last year. And I'm going to have the same bold prediction this year, and that is Micah Parsons is the Defensive Player of the Year in the NFL this year. What do you think of that?
That's bold. I think he needs that consistency. Go all the way from 1 to 17. All games going in his favor. He could definitely do it, though.
I got another bold prediction, and it's a challenge as well.
Okay.
If Zeke Elliott re-signs with this team, the Cowboys are going to the NFC Championship. If he signs.
So it's a challenge and a promise. Okay.
Right. I don't know who I'm
That is
challenging.
bold. We're off the rails on the final segment. I like it, Bill.
There you go. For Kyle Youmans, I'm Bill Jones, and we'll see you at Training Camp 2023.